Hello. Today we have Smith and Wesson Zippos. Now, there's supposed to be 10 in this set. I only have 8 of them because I was only able to get 8 when I bought these. So, obviously, doing the math, there's 2 of them missing. I used to know what those 2 were. I've since forgot because I don't care. You can't really find them unless it's in a set. And when you do find them outside of a set, they want so much for a single one that paying that price for 2, I would end up paying more than I paid for all of 8 of these combined. Simply not worth it. Now, I'm an American. I live in America. So guns are just a fact of life here. Everybody, whether you agree with guns or disagree with guns, everybody knows somebody that owns a bunch of guns or at least a couple of guns. I know multiple people that own multiple guns. So I'm not saying whether I am for or against it because that's not my position to say, really, to be honest with you. It doesn't really matter. But Zippos, on the other hand, I do love. And I have an awful lot of Zippos. Some people collect guns the same way I collect Zippos, I'm sure. Some people probably have all of these guns here in their collection. And that's quite honestly pretty awesome in itself. Because some of these guns go back to the 1850s, like this one, 1852, 1857, so on and so forth. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to complete this set. So one day, probably in the near future, I'll end up selling this just because it's just taking up space in my collection, space that I can use for other stuff. But I do like them. I like the Colt Zippos. I have a few Colt Zippos. I have a few Remington Zippos. And I have more Smith & Wesson Zippos, frankly, because of this set right here. If I got rid of it, I would have more Remington Zippos, I believe. But Smith & Wesson and Colt, while they both kind of got their start in the 1800s, Colt ended up becoming the big one that won the West type of thing, you know? Whereas Smith & Wesson, they ended up becoming really huge mainly because law enforcement. All the cops, the cop movies growing up, everything, you always heard Smith & Wesson. And they made the police handcuffs. And, you know, while a cop could get any gun he wanted, a lot of the cops, as far as I know, got Smith & Wessons because that's what was in the movies and in the TV shows and stuff like that. It was always referencing to Smith & Wesson. That's why I bought these. That's why I thought they were so cool. It was kind of that nostalgic thing that, you know, you remember this name your entire life, Smith & Wesson. It's a pretty big name and it's synonymous with handguns for sure. But, you know, whether you like guns or not, doesn't matter because these are Zippos. It's artwork on Zippos. And they're both American iconic businesses. So, I like it. If you like it, hit like and subscribe.